Hello everyone, I'm Rafael Gutierrez again, and I have the chance to answer two questions which I got from two of the videos I made. One is by a great karateka named Ed Sumner, who is part of a dojo in Arizona called Jundokan International of Arizona. Great guy, great martial artist. If you're around Arizona area, it's a good place to actually go and meet good people. The other one actually came from someone who I have to actually mention who it is because I actually own both of his books. Andre Quest, here. And I was pretty excited about a question from him because it is someone who I haven't had the opportunity to meet him yet. I have read both of his books, and actually, if you're, as it is holiday season, if you're looking for a gift for someone who's in martial arts, I would actually recommend both of them. One from Ed was about there's a kata which ends the bunkai with hitting the back of the head. And so I do have a small video on how that would work. The other one I'm going to answer from Cross Sensei is he mentioned that a lot of times when people grapple, especially if someone isn't really under control, they'll jerk as when they put the pretty much any sort of neck lock on you. And then people end up with a sore neck. So I am going to talk about those. As you notice, I didn't have my introduction as normal beginning because I wanted to talk a little. I do have a new introduction, which I'm really happy about. I hope you guys will enjoy. And as I am promoting books, I will tell you guys this. I do have two books. One of them is Cirrus and the Rarest Things, which is when my father passed away, I moved to Okinawa for roughly 3 months. I pretty much took a year off, quit everything I did, and went to Okinawa to train for a bit. And it's pretty much slightly fictionalized version of what happened there. I'm hoping that if some of you have gone to Okinawa, you might be able to read it and find some similarities. If some of you are thinking of going to Okinawa, hopefully this will inspire you to go. The other one is my book, Breaking Points, which is here. And what makes this book unique compared to most is if you go in the back, I actually have a list of references. You'll notice that most of these have names like neuroimaging. So what I did is I ended up taking a Pinan Shodan, as it's one of the most recognized kata, and quick interpretation using clinical data. It's not complete. There's going to be someone who finds more to it, but that's the way with katas is we can all take one move and find 100 different reasons for it. It's like a hammer. Yes, you can use it to put nails in, take nails out. But you can also use it to break ice. You can use it to break down a wall. All these other things. Today is actually I'm just going to deal with those two questions, and I hope you like the introduction. Take care. So today I am going to answer the two questions I talked about earlier. And for that, we really do need to look at the anatomy. This is mostly a neuro question. So what we're talking about is why you would have problems with the neck when someone puts you in headlocks and is jerking around. And the other one is why it's dangerous to get hit in the back of the head. Now, for the neck, one of the things to look at is this. You have the vertebrae here. You can see how long these processes are. Feel the spine of the vertebrae in your own neck. If you feel the spine of the vertebrae, which would be these here, you'll notice that you barely can touch them. So, as someone grabs a headlock and is jerking around, what they're doing is they're actually moving the vertebrae here. These bones move, flex, and extend, so you can end up having the movement of the neck as you have. This is being forced as the jerkiness is happening, and usually your defense from being jerked is to tighten the muscles around it. Again, if you look at the vertebrae here, I can grab it with my fingers. When you look at my neck, you'll notice that it's not going to, one hand isn't going to be able to do it. The other thing you notice is you have these, they're called foramens. It just means holes between the two vertebrae called intervertebral foramen where the nerves come out of. You can see how big these nerves are. As someone takes you in a headlock and is jerking around, these bones are moving side to side, up and down, and the space between the vertebrae can end up shrinking by more than 20% sometimes, depending on the angles. So what you are doing is you can irritate the nerves. Now, depending on how rough someone is, they could potentially cause a tear in one of the nerves, which can end up causing long-term damage. You can see the blood vessel there as well. So that's one of the reasons why when people are doing a lot of grappling, when they're doing a lot of stuff with the neck, some people end up feeling nerve pain over there. The other thing has to do with this area here. If we look at this here is the cervical area. You can they've cut across away the bones, and what you have is you have the vertebral column here. Now, this, as you're moving around, can actually irritate the nerves, and irritating the entire vertebral column can cause swelling, which will also end up leading to pain and even end up leading to nerve damage. The second question was based on the kata, where you turn someone around and you punch them in the back of the head. Now there's various ways people can hit someone in the back of the head, and I will use this model here to show the difference. So you can come straight here. You can come around here, and you can also come hit here. It's not going to break the neck. But what you look at is this area here is called the medulla oblongata. This area here is responsible for basic function of the body. So breathing, normal breathing pattern. Heart rate, it actually is involved in that. Now, as someone takes a hit there, what ends up happening is the head will end up jerking, and you can cause damage to the brainstem, the medulla oblongata. Damage to the medulla oblongata can end up leading to death or even paralysis or death. And so that's one of the problems here. We have to remember that a lot of people actually die from head trauma. And the other thing is this. When you hit here, you notice that you have a space between the brain and the skull. So let's say you don't hit here, you hit back here. You have a space between the brain and the skull. And that area has blood vessels and some fluid which keep the skull protected. It's a pad called the meninges, pad for pia, arachnoid, and dura. Now if someone gets it here, the skull moves forward. And as the brain is just kind of floating in that system, it ends up getting hit by the bone. Then starts moving. Once the skull stops moving, you end up having the brain continuing to go because of the hit, which can end up causing damage in the front. So either way, this can cause a lot of problems. The other bad thing about that is something you can see in this model here. What you see is, you see blood vessels everywhere in the vein, everywhere in the brain. Now, the brain is really dependent on all these blood vessels working well. And if any one of these tears, you have a medical emergency. That's why it's really, really important to make sure the brain is actually protected and you're not taking a lot of hit. Actually, you're not taking any hits to the brain. Any hit to the brain can end up leading to a life-threatening emergency, which is important for anyone who works in public health, in actually criminal system. You don't want someone dying on you because you accidentally hit them where you weren't supposed to. So it's important for people to actually know that this is not a good area to hit someone if you can at all avoid it. This is a little different when you're talking about self-defense, and this is actually a lot different when you're talking about self-defense, because sometimes all you're trying to do is get out as soon as possible. I hope this answered the two questions I hope this answered the two questions to a satisfactory level. Thank you, and don't forget to, if you enjoy these videos, to subscribe. Have a good day.